was the ugly friend until my wedding day, and every one of them tried to ruin it. I didn't know I was the ugly friend until the day I stopped needing to be one. People think the ugly friend is the girl everyone openly mocks. The punchline. The one with bad skin or bad clothes or bad luck. That's not always how it looks. Sometimes the ugly friend is just the one no one competes with. The one who's safe. I didn't grow up hating myself. That's the strange part. I knew I wasn't ugly in the mirror. I just learned early that compared to them, I wasn't the one who would be chosen first. Or second. Or sometimes at all. My friends and I met in middle school. 5 girls who stuck together out of convenience at first and then habit. Ava was beautiful in the way people noticed without trying. Blonde, symmetrical, always smiling. Teachers adored her. Boys tripped over themselves around her. Megan was loud and athletic and fearless, the type who made friends instantly. Bree was funny, sharp, always dating someone older. Tessa was quiet, artsy, delicate, the kind of girl people described as interesting. And then there was me. I was reliable. I was smart. I was the listener. The one who brought snacks. The one parents trusted. The one who stayed sober and drove everyone home. The one who remembered birthdays and texted first. I was useful. No one ever said I was ugly. They didn't have to. It was just understood that I wasn't the one whose looks mattered. When boys came around, the hierarchy showed itself naturally. Ava got asked out. Megan flirted. Bree teased. Tessa intrigued. I held the jackets. Took the photos. Watched purses. If someone showed interest in me, it was treated like an anomaly. A funny story. Something to laugh about later. Wait, him? Are you sure? That's actually kinda cute. Cute, that word followed me everywhere. I laughed along because that's what kept me included. I learned how to shrink without disappearing. How to make myself essential but never threatening. That role followed me into adulthood. After college, we stayed friends mostly out of inertia. Group chats, birthdays, brunch, weddings of other people, where they nudged me and joked, "You're next," in the tone that made it clear they didn't really believe it. I didn't either for a long time. Then my life started changing quietly. Not in a dramatic glow-up way. I didn't suddenly become thin or glamorous. I moved cities for work, started going to the gym because it helped my anxiety, learned how to dress for my body instead of hiding it. Got a haircut that actually suited my face. Started standing up straighter, talking less but meaning more when I spoke. People responded differently. Men noticed me in ways they never had before. Not constantly, not aggressively, but enough that it felt unfamiliar. My friends noticed too. At first, they framed it as support. "Wow, you look great. You've changed. What are you doing differently?" But compliments curdle when they're laced with comparison. Soon it became jokes again. "Don't get a big head. Who do you think you are? Careful, you're starting to act like Ava." I laughed, because that was the language we spoke. Then I met Ethan. He worked in the same building as me, different department. Quiet, thoughtful, not flashy. The kind of man who listened more than he spoke. The kind who noticed when you were uncomfortable and adjusted without being asked. He saw me. Not as a novelty. Not as an underdog. Just as a woman worth knowing. When I told the girls about him, their interest was minimal. "What does he look like?" Ava asked first, as always. I showed them a photo. "Oh," Megan said, clearly unimpressed. "Does he have friends?" Bree asked, like that mattered more than how he treated me. They didn't discourage me outright. They just didn't take it seriously. They never had with my relationships. When Ethan and I moved in together, the jokes resumed. "Guess miracles happen? Don't mess this up. He must really like your personality." I laughed. I always did. But something inside me started closing off. Ethan proposed 2 years later. On a random Tuesday night while we were eating takeout on the couch. No audience. No spectacle, just love. I cried so hard I scared myself. When I told the group chat, the reaction was immediate and loud. All caps, emojis, finally, OMG. So happy for you. But beneath the noise, I felt it. Shock. Not joy, not excitement. Disbelief. Like a rule had been broken. When I asked them to be my bridesmaids, they said yes instantly. Of course they did. Being part of my wedding felt safe, familiar, like something they were entitled to. The problem started almost immediately. Every decision I made was questioned. Every choice was filtered through how it would look on them. Ava hated the dress color. Said it washed her out. Megan complained the bachelorette plans were boring. Bree compared everything to weddings she'd seen online. Tessa stayed quiet but distant. When I found my wedding dress, something elegant, fitted, something I'd never thought I could wear. Ava tilted her head. "It's bold," she said. "Are you sure you can pull that off?" I said yes. She laughed. "Okay, confident queen." Something in her tone made my stomach drop. 2 months before the wedding, the venue called saying my deposit had been refunded. That the reservation was at risk. I panicked. After hours of phone calls, it turned out someone had called pretending to be me and canceled a payment. The number traced back to Megan. She laughed it off. Said she must have dialed the wrong number while multitasking. I believed her because I wanted to. 3 weeks before the wedding, my dress disappeared from the bridal shop. Someone claiming to be my sister had picked it up early. I don't have a sister. Security footage showed Bree. She cried when confronted. Said she just wanted to see it again. That it was an accident. The dress came back wrinkled, stained with makeup. The shop fixed it enough to be wearable. I told myself weddings make people crazy. The night before the wedding, at the rehearsal dinner, Ava pulled me aside. I just want to make sure you're not settling, she said softly. For what? I asked. For him, she said, glancing at Ethan. You've always deserved more than you thought. I asked her directly if she thought he was too good for me. She didn't answer. On the morning of my wedding, everything went wrong. My makeup artist didn't show. The appointment had been canceled. My hairstylist arrived late because she'd been given the wrong address. My bouquet was missing. Each time, one of the girls swooped in to help. By the time I put on my dress, my hands were shaking. But when I walked down the aisle and saw Ethan, something settled inside me. He looked at me like I was the only thing that had ever made sense. At the reception during speeches, Ava stood up unexpectedly. She wasn't scheduled to speak. She smiled sweetly and took the microphone. I just want to say how proud we all are, she began, of our girl. We've known her forever. Seen her grow from, well, you know. Light laughter rippled through the room. She's always been the dependable one, Ava continued. The friend who never left. Never needed the spotlight. My chest tightened. And it's just so inspiring, she said, smiling wider, that even someone like her can find love. Silence fell hard and fast. Ethan stood up before I could react. He walked over calmly and took the microphone from her hand. No, he said, voice steady. What's inspiring is watching someone survive years of being underestimated by people who called themselves her friends. The room was completely silent. He looked at me. You were never the ugly friend, he said. You were the one they didn't need to compete with. And the moment you stopped needing their approval, they panicked. Ava's face went red. Megan stared at the floor. Bree wouldn't look up. Tessa was crying. Ethan turned back to the room. She was always enough. They just needed her to believe she wasn't. He handed me the microphone, but I didn't speak. I didn't need to. Within a month, I stopped reaching out to all of them. I didn't announce it. I didn't make a speech. I just let the silence grow. None of them fought it very hard. Sometimes I look back at old photos and wonder how long they decided who I was allowed to be. Sometimes I mourn the girl who laughed at jokes that cut her. But mostly I feel free. Because the truth is, I was never the ugly friend. I was the mirror. And they hated what they saw when I finally stepped into the light.